Coming up next on Plus TV, Plus News. Join our news team for half hour of local and national news. Plus News, informative, balanced, accurate, and current.
When the power goes out, life is disrupted. Be prepared and keep your home powered up with a generator from BELRPI. We carry brands such as Honda, Kohler, and JCB. Schedule your installation, maintenance, and assessment to keep your generator ready and waiting to protect your family and home the next time the power fails. Stay in control of your power with a generator from BELRPI. Equipment, parts, service.
In the headlines for tonight's newscast, BELRPI releases new Money in Belizean Politics report. Abandoned infant placed in the care of human services, and young people clean up the capital under CITCO's summer internship program. These stories and more coming up next on Plus News tonight. Stay tuned.
As is brought to you through the courtesy of Builders Hardware, your home improvement warehouse.
August 1st, join Builders Hardware at Mia Garden Park for BELRPI Day. Deals, giveaways, and fun. You don't want to miss it. Acompáñanos el 1 de agosto en Mia Garden Park para el día de BELRPI con Builders Hardware. Ofertas, sorpresas y diversión. No te lo puedes perder.
Good evening and welcome to Plus News for today, Tuesday, July 28, 2026. I am Julian Cruz. The Belize Policy Research Institute, BELRPI, is urging the government to introduce legislation regulating political financing, saying the absence of clear rules leaves Belize vulnerable to corruption and political influence. The recommendation comes in a newly released report, Money in Belizean Politics, Breaking the Regulation Gap, which notes that Belize is among the few countries without a comprehensive legal framework governing political parties and election campaign financing. The report argues that the lack of oversight creates opportunities for undisclosed funding, including money from illicit sources, while increasing the risk that public resources could be used to influence political support. BELRPI also raises concerns over constituency spending, pointing to the distribution of constituency support allocations. Executive Director of the Belize Policy Research Institute, Dylan Vernon, told us more.
And the report basically asks the question, why after almost 30 years of promises from political parties and advocacy by civil society organizations, why don't we have, as most of the world does, a policy and law to regulate money in Belizean politics? The lack of having disclosure of knowing who gives money to whom has been shown, and in the case of the report, we do point to examples of being a driver of corruption and also a facilitator of inequity in participation in Belizean politics. And so the report delves into these issues. It does have a chapter that looks at 15 other countries in the Caribbean and Latin America and uses best practices from them to develop recommendations that we think are best suited for Belize to get to the point where we do have our first act on regulating the political finance and political parties in Belize. The general point the report makes is that why Belize does not have official public funding of political partisan candidates, that public resources in Belize can be used or abused to influence voters and constituents. And while there are some programs like the Constituency Development Fund that has the objective of developing, having projects in constituencies, the question is always who decides who gets what. And even for these official programs, which we have seen an increase in over time, the answer to the question is that it is usually the elected politician from that constituency that make these decisions. And so, in a sense, political finance can come from public resources. It is even more blatantly done with the seasonal Christmas assistance, summer assistance before school opens, that sort of program, which is shorter term. But at the end of the day, who decides who gets what? If it is a politician or a political party, it is political financing.
While, according to the Institute, these funds may serve legitimate public purposes, greater safeguards are needed to ensure they are not used to gain political advantage. To address these concerns, BELPRI is calling for campaign finance legislation that would require greater transparency in political donations and spending, strengthening accountability, and reduce the risk of corruption in Belize's electoral system. The Money in Belizean Politics report is not just for show, however. According to Dylan Vernon, the executive director of the Belize Policy Research Institute, the report will be presented to the Prime Minister. The report examines the absence of laws regulating political party financing and election campaign spending in Belize. It argues that the lack of oversight creates opportunities for undisclosed donations, illicit funding, conflicts of interest, and the misuse of public resources for political gain. Vernon says that if the government of the day is serious about change, the report can be used as a tool to chart the way forward.
And the report basically asks the question, why after almost 30 years of promises from political parties and advocacy by civil society organizations, why don't we have, as most of the world does, a policy and law to regulate money in Belizean politics? The lack of having disclosure of knowing who gives money to whom has been shown, and in the case of the report, we do point to examples of being a driver of corruption and also a facilitator of inequity in participation in Belizean politics. And so the report delves into these issues. It does have a chapter that looks at 15 other countries in the Caribbean and Latin America and uses best practices from them to develop recommendations that we think are best suited for Belize to get to the point where we do have our first act on regulating the political finance and political parties in Belize. The general point the report makes is that while Belize does not have official public funding of political partisan candidates, that public resources in Belize can be used or abused to influence voters and constituents. And while there are some programs like the Constituency Development Fund that has the objective of developing, having projects in constituencies, the question is always who decides who gets what. And even for these official programs, which we have seen an increase in over time, the answer to the question is that it is usually the elected politician from that constituency that make these decisions. And so, in a sense, political finance can come from public resources. It is even more blatantly done with the seasonal Christmas assistance, summer assistance. No, I think what I will say is, Prime Minister, here is this report. We have collated the international better practice, regional best practice. We have looked at all the proposals made in Belize towards this issue. We have a blueprint for how it can happen. If political parties are serious, if the government is serious about advancing, this can be a tool and a blueprint for moving forward. And look, as I said in the presentation, we have to acknowledge that it's not going to be easy. This is difficult. The Prime Minister is right in that way. But because it's difficult does not mean in any way or form that we should not try, and we should not at least try to mitigate some of the worst implications, negative results of money in politics.
But do you think they are willing to try? Not having campaign finance legislation sort of benefits them?
Well, one of the things that we have been hearing more and more over the years, even politicians complaining about the constant need to raise money and the constant demand on them from constituents. So if that can be translated into action by saying, look, we need to do something about this collectively, then that would be a win-win situation. But clearly, a lot of people in both political parties over the years, politicians have benefited from the lack of regulation, the status quo. So changing it will not be easy. And I think that's the key hurdle to overcome. The excuses about lack of enforcement and how difficult it is, I think, we're able to get over those. The key one will be convincing them that the status quo isn't working, and for all of us collectively, if we do have at least some regulation, we'll be all better off.
One of the only politicians who was present at this morning's report launch by BELRPI was Belize City Councillor Alan Pollard. The People's United Party is gearing up for a convention to decide who will run for them as the next mayoral candidate in the upcoming Belize City municipal election. The race is between Deputy Mayor Eliud Miller and Councillor Alan Pollard. Today, Pollard was asked if he believes he can convince the delegates to vote for him.
I don't see it as a mad scramble. I think these people are people who have been engaged with the party for quite some time. I think being a delegate for a constituency is a privilege that is afforded to lifelong party supporters and era rep supporters. So these are the people they're not new. They're people who have been around. They're people who have been engaged and have been supporting us for years. So for me, it's just touching back with them, giving them a greeting and ensuring that I relay that plan to them. I don't think it's anything whereby there are new people and you have to reintroduce myself or anything like that. So for that reason, I don't consider it a mad scramble.
Do you think you have enough time and financial resources?
I think I do more for the time-wise, yeah, but financial resources, I do want to say, I don't know where you get that figure from, the 200 per delegate. I personally don't pay for delegates, but the support that I have been afforded over time, I think I am one of the lucky ones who, it's not as expensive for me because, I put in the time, I put in the work, and of course, the relationship that I have with the delegates is something that money can't buy.
Police are investigating two separate fatal road traffic accidents that occurred over the weekend. The first RTA involved 39-year-old Tatiana Alvarado. According to police, the fatal crash occurred at approximately 4:35 p.m. between miles 44 and 45 on the highway near Bella Vista Village. Investigators say 26-year-old Dante Norales, a delivery worker of Belmopan City, was driving a Ford Escape from the Independence Cut-Off toward Punta Gorda Town when he attempted to overtake Alvarado's Lifan 150 motorcycle, which was traveling in the same direction. Police say the motorbike allegedly swerved left during the maneuver, resulting in a collision with the SUV. Alvarado sustained severe head and body injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene.
Police have issued a notice of intended prosecution as a part of the ongoing investigation into a traffic accident that claimed the life of 39-year-old Tatiana Alvarado of Playa Vista Village. The incident occurred at approximately 4:35 p.m. on Saturday, 25th July 2026, near the Independence Cutoff. Investigators have established thus far that Alvarado was riding a motorcycle in the direction of Punta Gorda, and traveling immediately behind her was a Ford Escape. It is alleged that the driver of the Ford Escape, in the process of attempting to overtake the motorcycle being operated by Alvarado, when Miss Alvarado is alleged to have taken a sudden left turn, resulting in the collision, and that collision resulted in her fatal demise.
The second accident took place near the Belize-Mexico border on Sunday. 31-year-old Mexican national Nidia Galdames Hernandez was traveling in the direction of Mexico when she collided into oncoming traffic. Police say that multiple NIPs have been served.
Police have issued notices of intended prosecution as a part of the ongoing investigation into the death of 31-year-old Mexican national Nidia Galdames Hernandez, which occurred at approximately 9:40 p.m. on Sunday, 26 July 2026, near the Belize-Mexico border. The investigation has so far disclosed that Hernandez was operating a motorcycle and she was heading towards the Mexican border, and traveling behind her was a green Chevrolet motor vehicle. It is alleged that Hernandez swerved into the opposite lane of traffic and collided into a Dodge Altitude that was coming in the opposite direction, resulting in a collision and her being fatally injured. Urine samples have been extracted from drivers of both of the vehicle as a part of the ongoing investigation.
An abandoned infant has been placed in the care of Human Services. We'll have more on that and other stories right after this break.
August 1st, join Builders Hardware at Mia Garden Park for Belmopan Day. Deals, giveaways, and fun. You don't want to miss it. Acompáñanos el 1 de agosto en Mia Garden Park para el día de Belmopan con Builders Hardware. Ofertas, sorpresas y diversión. No te lo puedes perder.
Before our grid reached across Belize, it was built by generations of Belizeans committed to connecting communities and powering progress. Through the hands, the dedication, and the vision of our people, the grid grew with Belize. A nation built through strength and resilience, and a network built pole by pole. Today, that responsibility continues, strengthened by every hand that follows, each generation building on the last, and carrying forward a shared responsibility, serving communities, powering schools, hospitals, businesses, and homes, supporting a nation that continues to grow. Belize Electricity Limited, built to serve, serving Belize.
We are modernizing assessment through the National Student Assessment System, strengthening teacher professional development in digital pedagogy and STEAM education, and also advancing reforms in technical and vocational education and training so that more young people develop the practical skills required for emerging industries.
I was amazed how these girls were working together because many of them didn't know each other at no point. And through this 2 weeks program, they managed to create these strong bonds, and they came up with problems that they were identifying out in the community, right? Problems with the environment, problems with climate change. It was such a wonderful experience, with seeing how these girls can take such simple tasks to great heights.
On the first day, I fell in love with the robots and stuff we were making, like wind turbines, and that really caught my attention. So I think when I go into third form, I would go in the science instead of the business, because I really wanted to take business, but now I think of it, I really want to go into science now because it's so fun.
We wanted to spark that interest and motivation in girls so that they're able to go into STEAM careers, and they're able to then jump into various aspects of or what we call skill pathways. So the goal beyond this festival is for us to then build a nice network, a support network, a commitment network, so that the stakeholders who were willing to be with us can continue that journey with the girls.
Here's how to be a part of Benny's Homecation in 3 easy steps. First, download the B-Bucks app and sign up to be eligible. It's fast and easy. Then, shop at any Benny's location or Benny's entity. Remember to choose products from our monthly Homecation jackpot categories to earn entries. Now you can earn B-Bucks with purchases made and be a part of the Benny's Homecation jackpot for a chance to win the $10,000 grand prize in December. Win the ultimate Homecation with Benny's, quality and savings.
Colin Francis Jr. has pleaded guilty to manslaughter and attempted murder in connection with 2 violent incidents that occurred in June 2019. The guilty pleas were accepted today by Justice Nigel Pilgrim in the High Court, while sentencing scheduled for September 7 following mitigation submissions. Francis was originally charged with the murder of Nestor Vasquez Jr., who died after being assaulted while the 2 were being held in custody at the Queen Street Police Station. Under a plea agreement with the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the murder charge was reduced to manslaughter on the basis of diminished responsibility after psychiatric evaluations found Francis was suffering from schizophrenia and was in an acute psychotic state at the time of the offense. He also pleaded guilty to the attempted murder of nurse Agustina Elijo, who was stabbed while on duty at the Port Loyola Mental Health Clinic on June 4, 2019. The nurse sustained grievous injuries but survived the attack. The court ordered a social inquiry report, a prison report, and victim impact statements ahead of sentencing. Francis, who has been on remand since June 2019, was previously found unfit to plead, but was recently declared fit to stand trial following psychiatric treatment and ongoing evaluation. Police are investigating reports of a child that was left abandoned by its mother. Police say the child was located after a birth document was discovered near a small fire at a nearby residence, prompting an investigation. Authorities learned that the mother had reportedly left the infant with a woman while waiting for a taxi, but never returned to collect the child.
Sometime last night, police were called to a residence on Baghdad Street. There was a fire on a stair, and the lady stated that when she extinguished the fire, she noticed a birth paper was near where the fire occurred. It was only because of this another female who lived not too far away realized that the name on the birth paper is that of a female who had visited her earlier and left her child there with her. That particular woman reported that a female known to her solely by first name, and it's not someone that she was intimately acquainted with, visited her and began a conversation and asked her to call a taxi for her. And during that time that they were waiting for the taxi, the child fell asleep. So the child was placed to sleep within the residence. The female, which is the mother of the child, left and she did not return any at all. And it was only when that incident happened that she realized that something may have gone on. Investigators have since been able to locate the mother. The child was placed with the Human Services and has been advised that consultation and welfare check should happen sometime during the course of the day to see what exactly went wrong that caused the mother to take that course of action that she took.
For the past 6 years, the National Fire Services headquarters has been stationed at the Marion Jones Stadium in Belize City. The headquarters was originally stationed at Cleghorn Street, but due to the nature of the building, it was relocated. The minister responsible for disaster risk management, Honorable Henry Charles Usher, says that the government is in the process of relocating the headquarters, but are still seeking funding.
When the National Fire Service headquarters was sold by the UDP administration, there was no plan for it. There was nowhere for the National Fire Service to go. They had been begging lodging at the Marion Jones Stadium, a place that was not suitable for the National Fire Service. We are preparing and we are in plans now to get the new National Fire Service headquarters built very close to the Eleanor Hall building. There's a land designated there, so we're happy that we're proceeding with that. We're looking for funding for that particular project as we speak. Currently, a space is being rented for a part of the National Fire Service, not the full headquarters. The administrative headquarters is there, as well as the North Side Fire Station is there. The mechanical yard has been moved to Ladyville, and other areas have been moved to other areas because we just don't have the space available in the other locations. But when we do build the new headquarters, we'll be able to have the administrative headquarters, the mechanical yard, the training yard, etc., for the National Fire Service, so it will be good.
Minister Henry Charles Usher also gave us an update on the new job portal that was recently opened for Belizeans seeking employment within the government sector. The old portal was closed as it frequently crashed. Usher says that the new portal now has more space so that it can be better utilized by the public.
So we had a job portal before, but what we found was that the space that was available was not enough. We had persons who were submitting their resumes, who were applying for jobs, but it got crowded and it came down often, so we had to continuously have to buy additional space. Now, with the services being provided and the improvements being made, we've opened a new job portal with more space and more features so that persons can go in there, see what jobs are available, upload their resumes, etc. And also a feature that I am particularly happy for is one where if there is a vacancy for a particular skill, it can actually look and to see if persons have submitted a resume with that particular skill and try to match them so that we could maybe contact the person without that person having to say, I'm interested in a job.
Young people are cleaning up the capital under CITCO's summer internship program. We'll have that story right after this break.
August 1st, join Builders Hardware at Mia Garden Park for Belmopan Day. Deals, giveaways, and fun. You don't want to miss it. Acompáñanos el 1 de agosto en Mia Garden Park para el día de Belmopan con Builders Hardware. Ofertas, sorpresas y diversión. No te lo puedes perder.
Best Care Pharmacy in Belmopan is the #1 choice for your health and well-being. We stock medical supplies, blood and glucose tests, vitamins and supplements, OTCs, and prescription and non-prescription medication. Visit us today at 2114 San Martin Road, Belmopan. We're open Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., and even Sundays at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Or give us a call at 832-2200. Golden Citizen cardholders get a 10% discount, and a registered pharmacist is always available. Best Care Pharmacy, your health, our priority.
The National Celebrations Commission, in collaboration with the Belize City Council and the National Institute of Culture and History, proudly invites you to celebrate Emancipation Day at the annual Ibo Town Festival on Saturday, August 1st, 2026. Following the official Emancipation Day ceremony, join us at the Isaiah Mortar Square on Albert Street West from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. for a full day of culture, entertainment, and family fun. Experience an exciting lineup of live performances, cultural displays, local handicrafts, an educational emancipation tour, delicious food and drinks, and a free kids zone featuring face painting, cotton candy, snow cones, a bouncy house, and a trampoline. Think you've got the best powder bun or rice and beans? Enter our powder bun and rice and beans competition for a chance to win amazing cash prizes. Mark your calendars and bring the entire family to the Isaiah Mortar Square on Saturday, August 1st from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come celebrate our history, our freedom, our culture, and our community at the Ibo Town Festival. See you there.
When the job demands more, Milwaukee Power Tools are designed to handle the toughest jobs on the construction site. If it's speed, durability, and performance you need, Milwaukee is the perfect choice. For unstoppable power at an unbeatable price, make it Milwaukee. Nothing but heavy duty. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Best Care Pharmacy in Belmopan.
When the job demands more, Milwaukee Power Tools are designed to handle the toughest jobs on the construction site. If it's speed, durability, and performance you need, Milwaukee is the perfect choice. For unstoppable power at an unbeatable price, make it Milwaukee. Nothing but heavy duty. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and New Growth Industries, in partnership with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, the FAO, has launched a 5-day technical training mission aimed at strengthening Belize's agricultural extension services and promoting climate-smart farming practices. The training, being held at Central Farm in Cayo from July 27 to 31, brings together field and research-based extension officers as part of the regional project, Strengthening Agricultural Extension Services in the Caribbean. The initiative is funded by the Government of Canada and implemented by the FAO. Participants are receiving classroom and hands-on instructions in areas including soil health assessment, plant nutrition, fertilizer management, irrigation systems, and sustainable crop management. According to the ministry, the training is designed to equip extension officers with the technical skills needed to better support farmers, improve agricultural productivity, and strengthen the country's resilience to climate change. Young people from across Belmopan and its surrounding communities are currently participating in the Belmopan City Council's Youth Summer Internship Program. This is the second year of the program, where the council takes on a number of young persons to help with the beautification of Belmopan. The summer internship program is different from other internships, however, as all the participants are paid. We stopped by one of the areas that was being cleaned by the interns to learn how the experience has been so far.
In the past few days, like everyone's witnessing right now, we've been cleaning up the sidewalks, we've been picking up the grass, put them in plastic bags. When the truck passed, we put them in. Just yesterday we went to Maimapan and we cleaned the areas of the bridge where they just built. We cleaned the sidewalk so that if the water comes, they can flow down properly into the creek. And yeah, that's basically what we've been doing.
Why did you decide to come and work with the Belmopan City Council?
Well, just like you say, you may play game during your summer with me last couple of weeks. But honestly, I get tired of play game in my house all day. I want to be active, and this is a good opportunity. They do some nice work, have fun during the work. Not too much fun now. We have fun, and we get paid for it.
How does it feel to work in Belmopan, to know that when you walk through this park, you can say, man, I contributed to how that park looks good?
I mean, it's a redeeming feeling. It's not just you come here, you want to know how the park get fixed. You participate in the clean up the park, and you have to say, oh, I want to know how they do this. I want to know how they do that. You experience it, you've been through it, and it's a nice redeeming feeling.
And I am certainly hopeful that that creates some civic pride in our young people. And that brings us to the end of our newscast for tonight. We want to say thank you so much for tuning into Plus News, and be sure to join us right back here again tomorrow evening when we bring you all the latest happenings from around the country and issues that also affect Belize externally. We will see you tomorrow evening. You take care for now. God bless. Have a safe and restful evening.